Okay, I'm just going to get started now. Kerry Ann has just asked if the sound keeps cutting out. Can I just check with everybody else? Does the sound seem okay, or is it a bit hit and miss? Fades in and out. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Possibly, if a number of people are getting it, yeah, it's probably something at my end. Then the internet running a bit slow, or something like that, maybe. Anyway, we'll persevere. Hopefully, it'll kind of improve. And as I say, I am recording this, so if for whatever reason there's a bit that you can't catch, I'll show you where all of the recordings are at the end. So, welcome to tonight's webinar. Thanks, Emma. Tonight's webinar is all about getting started, and it's the first in a series of 8 webinars that I run every Wednesday night. Most Wednesday nights. Might take 9 or 10 weeks to go around them all if I have to miss one for any reason, but I try not to. And the first 3, tonight and the next 2, are really about the retail side of the business, getting started, things to expect and do in your first few weeks, and building that customer base. Numbers 4 and 5 are about the team building side, so getting started and supporting new team members. And then 6, 7 and 8 are all about the kind of personal development side of the business, making sure that your goals are clear and you know how important your attitude is to the business. So let's get started then. So tonight we'll be going to be covering a number of different things. So one is about getting started immediately. You don't have to kind of learn loads and loads of stuff before you can get started. You can be up and running within kind of half an hour or an hour or so of signing up. I'm going to describe your 30-day bonus, so hopefully you're aware of that. If you're fairly new in the business, your sponsor should have described it to you, but I'll explain it in a bit of detail. I'm going to talk about the catalogue side of the business and the Facebook side, so how to prepare your catalogues before you deliver them, planning, where to deliver them, where and when, and then delivering and collecting them, some kind of hints and tips about that side of it. I'm also going to talk about Facebook selling. There's a lot more detail on Facebook selling in videos that you might have watched and that your sponsor will have pointed you to. But I'm going to summarize all of that and hopefully just reinforce some things that you might already know. Just a couple of reminders about placing your orders and then receiving the goods and then delivering them to your customers. So, when you're new in the business, and I know Rochelle is very new, Jenna is new as well, Emma is quite new, so there's a few guys here who are quite new. One of the most important things that you can do is to realise that you can get started now. You can get started straight away. Although there is quite a lot of information that will be sent your way in terms of training and videos and reading and so on, you don't have to wait until you've read everything before you can get started. Much better to get started straight away, then learn how to do it better as you go along. The phrase there we use, which is ignorance on fire, is far better than knowledge on ice. While you're enthusiastic and on fire, then get started. And you can take action immediately. As soon as you've started, you should be telling your friends and family. They will often become your first customers, and some of them might even become your first team members, because if they realise you're taking some action and doing something to make things better in your life, they might want to join you on that. There's actually 6 short videos now on that the website there, sellonfb.co.uk. There's a couple of different sites where the videos are held, very similar videos, so make sure you speak to your sponsor about where to find the videos that they're recommending. But if you're not sure where to look, if you go to that website, there's some great videos there, recorded by one of the leaders in the business, Andy Boswell. And then another great place to go for hints and tips, again, speak to your sponsor, because they may well have a group support, Facebook support group. They may well have a team Facebook group to support you and your team. So speak to your sponsor. But again, there's some great hints and tips on that group there. Kleeneze Online Sales. So loads of support on Facebook, and you can do this straight away, literally within 2 minutes of you getting started, of you getting registered, you can start getting involved. So Your catalogues will arrive normally 2 days after you sign up, depending on exactly what time of day, but 2 or 3 days after you sign up. And again, if there's a weekend in the middle there, it might be a bit longer. But what you should do is, there's a bit of preparation you need to do, and I'll explain a bit more about that in a moment. But again, if you've got local friends and family, as soon as the catalogues arrive, nip round there, cup of tea, plonk the catalogue in front of them, just tell them, you've just started a new business, have a little look. If there's anything that you want, it'd be great to get your first orders from them. And if you've got close friends and family nearby, then they'll often help you on that, which is a great start. So, a quick question for everybody, really. Can I just ask, which of you are doing just Facebook, which of you are doing just catalogues, and which of you are doing both? Can you just type something in there to give me an idea? Tracy's doing both, James is doing both, Werner, good. Rochelle started on Facebook, yeah, I know you've only just started, Rochelle, that's good. Karen and Ian mainly doing the catalogues. Emma's doing Facebook, yeah. Terry Ann doing both. Brilliant. So there's a good balance there. So I'm glad we've kind of seen that. A lot of new people are. Oh, yeah, thank you, Jenna. A lot of new people when they first start off just do Facebook, but with the 30-day challenge with the free catalogues, that's a great way to get into doing the catalogues as well. On that subject, that's what I'm going to talk about next. So the 30-day bonus. Kleeneze basically do an incentive, where they say if you can get 500 bonus points, which is about £600 in orders, in your first 30 days, then you get a number of rewards. Now, quick question for everybody, especially the new people in it. Would you say that's going to be hard or easy for you to get £600 worth of orders in your first 30 days? Emma's saying easy. Rochelle's saying hard. Easy if you're committed, yeah, Emma. Tracy's thinking hard. Myrna saying easy. Actually, it's quite difficult to judge when you first start off because you've got no idea how it's going to be. The clue is really that it is a 30-day challenge. It's not a 30-day stroll or a 30-day walk in the park. You are going to have to work hard at this. And the whole point of doing that is your first 30 days are always going to be the hardest because you're learning everything from scratch. You've got no customers at all. You don't know anything about the business. You're having to learn from a sponsor who maybe you've never met until a day or two earlier. So there's lots of things in your way. So it's a challenge. But the beauty of it is if you can throw yourself into it, then it really gets you off to a fantastic start. And basically, the way to think about it is the idea is to try to get £600 worth of orders in your first 30 days, which works out at about £150 a week. So £150 a week, let's say if you were just doing the catalogues, if you started off with your 250 catalogues and you delivered them just once a week, that might take you 8 to 10 hours. On average, you'll get around about maybe 50p to £1 per catalogue. If you do some Facebook orders as well as that, then if you're getting 250 catalogues, £1 per catalogue, that'll be £250 in a week. Now, when you first start off, you get a little bit below average, and it can take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to start building that up when you start getting repeat orders from your customers. So that's why we say if you can put your catalogues out more than once a week and supplement that with Facebook orders and also obviously friends and family as well. So really throw yourself into it. If you're finding that you've been in the business a week or two and you're not getting £150 a week, speak to your sponsor, because 9 times out of 10 you'll be doing the right things, you're just not doing enough of it. You maybe just need to commit an extra hour on an evening or try and find an hour at lunchtime or something to do a bit more just to boost your start. And the result of that, of doing all of that hard work, is you get your first income, so you'll earn over 120 odd pounds. So if you started off on a £25 kit and in your first 30 days you've earned £125, that's fantastic. That's a fantastically profitable business in your first 30 days. Plus, you get bonuses of either lots of free catalogues. You can get the K-Life catalogues and the Kleeneze catalogues. Plus, you can also get leads if you want to get started on the team building side of it straight away. So, and the catalogues come, rather than waiting right at the end, you get the 50 free catalogues every time you put in an order of 125 bonus points. Just bear in mind it's the £150 we talk about, just because it's easy to visualise that. And it actually needs to be £150 worth of customers' orders, so you can't add kind of carrier bags or catalogues or anything like that to it. It has to be £155 in goods. But it's certainly worth it, because a free set of 50 catalogues is worth £29 to you. So just for putting in an order, earning yourself some money, you're getting effectively like a £30 bonus each time you do that. So if you're doing the catalogue side, so the next few slides are going to be mainly about the catalogues. Make sure that you personalise the catalogues. What's really important is that your customers start to get to know you and recognise your name, and then once they've met you, they can get to like you, and then they'll trust you, and that's when you start getting lots of repeat orders. So make sure that with the catalogues you've personalised them. Put day slips in, make sure your name is on the order forms, and I would say make every pack exactly the same. So by that what I mean is you put the main catalogue in, maybe a sales catalogue or a special offer catalogue, little catalogue if you've got one of those. Put the order form in and the day slip, and put them all in exactly the same order. But what I would do is one of the catalogues that you're putting in, say the sales catalogue, just put that in upside down and back to front. And I'll explain in a moment why you do that. What I recommend is that you have the day slip right at the front, so that when it falls in through the letterbox, or obviously if you're presenting it to them, then you can show them the date. But you just want to make sure that your customer knows exactly what day you're going to go back and collect them on. Because if the customer doesn't have time to have a look at it, the last thing you want them to do is to have to look through everything to try and find what day of the week it is. So make sure the day slip is right at the front. The order form, you've got a couple of choices really. You can either put it visible, I would say put it at the back so that it's facing out the front, or you can tuck it inside of one of the catalogues. There's pros and cons, so I would say speak to your sponsor to see what they recommend. If you have it visible at the back, then that could be hiding, if you like, the back of one of the catalogues. So it's that's your shop window, if you like. But the advantage of having that is when you go back to collect them, it's really easy to see whether the customer's ordered or not, because the order form is right there in front of you. If the order form is tucked inside one of the catalogues, then your shop windows are all clear, so your customers can see what's on the front, what's on the back, and that might persuade them to open it up because they'll see one of the fantastic products. But then every time you pick the catalogue up, you've just got to double check to see if there's an order being written in there. Again, I'll explain in a moment a bit more about that when we come around to collecting the catalogue. Oh, Anne, sorry, you've just said yes to a question from Dave Trowell, but I think you've got your option set on send the messages only to the presenter, so I've seen that, but I don't think Dave can. You might just want to check the options there, Anne. Okay, planning is something that is really, really important, especially on the retail side. In fact, everything that you do in this business, you need to think ahead what you're going to do. When you're an employee, quite often you don't need to have a plan because you go in the morning, your boss tells you what to do, and he tells you what time you can go home. But when you're self-employed, it can be very tempting to just sort of think, this is great now, I can do this flexible whenever I want to, so after I drop the children off at school. But if you don't have a plan where you say, right, these are the hours that I'm going to work, and this is the area that I'm going to deliver to, and this is how many catalogues I'm going to pick out, you start to get to think about, I'm not sure, I'm not feeling too great, maybe I'll do them tomorrow instead, or the weather's looking a bit grey, I'm not sure, perhaps I'll pick them up another day. But if you've got a plan, then stick to it. And your weekly planner, the weekly plan that you should go through with your sponsor, will just make sure that you're putting in the right amount of activity, whether that's Facebook or catalogues, to give you the kind of income that you're looking for in the time that you've got available. And then you've got to stick to that plan. You've got to have the disciplines in this business. Although it's a flexible business, it's not so flexible that you can not bother to do the work. Now what we do is we use what's called a 6x4 routine. That means we deliver a catalogue to every customer every 4 weeks. So basically the first time you put the catalogues out, you'll go to one set of houses, then maybe later on that week or the following week go to a different set of houses, keep going to new houses, but then once every month, once every 4 weeks, come back to the beginning again and you deliver a catalogue back to those same houses. The only ones you wouldn't deliver to are anybody who said, sorry, I don't want a catalogue. Anybody who's ordered, anybody who doesn't order. If you've got somebody who kind of throws the catalogue away and you despite knocking 2 or 3 times you can't get it back, then I would cross those off as well. Otherwise, you're likely to lose another catalogue. But by going back regularly every 4 weeks, then you show your customers that you're going to be reliable and that you're going back regularly. Now, when you're thinking about where to deliver the catalogues, plan your route in advance. I wouldn't just kind of go out and go wandering about. What I would suggest is print a map off, start close to home. There's no point in driving to the other side of town just because you think there might be some better houses there. And don't flip from one road to the next. Just kind of go down one road, turn left, do the next one, do the cul-de-sacs, come back again. And then gradually on your map, you highlight the roads that you've done. And that way you can tell if you've missed any out so you can go back and do them the next time. And also, it's really important to deliver to every house. Don't prejudge. It's really easy to sort of think, no, oh, I've been around a council estate and there was a fridge and a bike in the front garden. I thought I'm never going to get that catalogue back. Or you can go to a house with a big electric gate and think, oh, they're not likely to order from catalogue. You never know. I've got customers with large detached houses with big electric gates. I've got customers on council estates where I remember the first time going around thinking exactly that. I'm not sure I'm going to get this catalogue back. And I just found that the people on the council estates, I would get loads of orders from people. They're probably not as high value as in the big houses, but I just get lots of orders, and some of my most reliable customers who order every single time are on the local council estate. So don't prejudge, deliver to every house. Let the customer decide whether they want to order from you or not. And do deliver if there's signs saying no cold callers or no junk mail. Do deliver to those houses. The only ones I would exclude are if there's somebody who's actually specifically put no Kleeneze catalogues or something like that. But most of my good customers don't, if they're elderly customers, they don't want people knocking on their door trying to sell them electricity or anything like that. So they will say no cold callers. But they absolutely love having the time to browse through a catalogue, write what they want, and know that you're going to be reliable and come back to them, and they get to know you and trust you, know you and like you and trust you, and then you'll get lots and lots of regular orders from customers like that. One thing to be aware of is if you come to a block of flats, and now some flats have like a door where you can press a trades button and go inside, and then each flat has its own letterbox, so that's fine. You can treat those exactly the same. But if you've got a block of flats with, say, loads of letterboxes, they're all kind of next to each other outside the front door, like one on top of the other. It's very tempting to think, oh, brilliant, I've got 20 catalogues out, it's taken me about 10 seconds. The problem with that is, when you come back to collect them, and there's maybe 7 of them in a pile at the bottom, you'll have no idea which customers have put them out and which ones haven't, and you're going to have to buzz on every single buzzer and try and ask them whether they put their catalogue out or not. Now you can get around that. You could put like a little sticky label on the outside of each plastic bag with a number 1, 2, 3 on each one. But just be aware of that. It's not just simply a case of putting the catalogues into all these bulk letterboxes. When you're delivering the catalogues, just ignore any other distributor. You may well come across a house that's got a catalogue outside, even a catalogue with an order there. Still put your catalogue through, because there's a number of things that can happen. One is occasionally distributors will leave the business before they've been around to collect all their catalogues, or they might go back and collect their catalogues. They leave their stragglers and they just don't go back for them. They're not very reliable, and so the customers in those houses will be delighted to have somebody who's a bit more reliable. And also it could just be that the person who's delivering to them at the moment, maybe they don't get on with, and actually it would be really nice for them to have somebody a lot more friendly and reliable that they can order from. So just put the catalogue through. If the customer is happy with their distributor, and the customers tend to develop a loyalty to you when you've been delivering for a while. And in which case, if you deliver to somebody who's loyal to their existing distributor, you normally just get a nice note come back saying, "Oh, thanks very much, but I'll already get a catalogue from Sue or Peter or Graham, and I don't need another one, thanks." And then you can cross them off your list. It's important to keep records while you're going round. So in your round book, which isn't round, but it's a little retail book where you can write down for each house that you deliver to, make a note of the fact that you delivered it, and then when you're collecting it, you can keep track of the ones that you've collected back from and so on. And the importance of doing this when you're delivering them, it might be easy to think, oh well, I just went all the way down one side, all the way down the other, I'll remember them all. If somebody just sort of, when you put a catalogue through the letterbox, somebody might say, "Oh, excuse me, thanks very much, I don't want this, thank you," and give you it back. And you've got to remember that number 27 didn't want the catalogue, so you don't want to go back and collect it. And if you're having to remember that, chances are you could forget. So if you just make a little note in your book as you're going round, then it just saves you the hassle of trying to remember which ones you didn't deliver to. The usual polite stuff: close gates behind you. Don't walk across people's gardens. Just walk around on their footpaths. Do talk to everybody you come across. A cheery smile. Morning, I'm just dropping the Kleeneze catalogue through. How are you? Will go a long way, because people like cheerful people. So you're much more likely to get orders from people if you've been friendly and said hello to them, than if they're working in their garden and you just ignore them, walk straight across their lawn, pop it through the letterbox, and then tramp through their flowers on your way back while they're trying to plant everything. Okay, so that's delivering the catalogues. When you're collecting the catalogues, you need to remember to take a few things. So firstly, your round book, the book where you wrote down the list of all of the houses that you delivered to. You also need to take your thank you slips. So it's a good idea to just take some slips that you can pop through the door that just say thanks very much for your order. If you know when you're going to be delivering the order to them, then you can actually write on the slip when that will be. If you've just started, you're probably not sure yet because you don't know when you'll be putting an order in and how long it will take you. So normally what you could do is either just leave it blank, or you could put something like, "Thank you for your order, and I should have it for you within a week." Something like that, because that will kind of give them an idea. But also you need some "sorry I missed you" slips, because not everybody will remember to put the catalogue out, and then when you knock on the door, if they're not there, you need some little reminder slips to put through their letterbox. And what you need to record in your round book for every house that you go to is, did you get the catalogue back? Did they order or not? And it's really important to check this on the doorstep. It's really tempting to whiz around really quickly, throw all the catalogues into your trolley and think, right, I'll sort them all out when I get back. I guarantee if you do that, you'll get home and you'll have a nice big order from somebody with, 2 of these and 1 of these and 3, a £45 order. Your first time out, you're absolutely over the moon, and then you realise they've forgotten to write their name and address on the order form. And you're thinking, okay, I've just been to 250 houses. It was somewhere in the middle. I can probably go knock on 130 doors and find out which one it was. So you really don't want to be doing that. Much better just take 10 seconds, have a quick look at the order form while you're there. If they've tucked it away inside the catalogue, you just need to open it up a little bit, see if there's an order in there, and then you can take it out. If not, then you can just mark in your notebook that they didn't order. And it is worth also checking whether they looked at the catalogue or not. And one of the reasons, or one of the ways you can do that is, if you remember at the beginning when I said how to prepare the catalogues, I said just put one of the catalogues in back upside down and back to front. Because typically what people will do is when they come to open the catalogues up, sometimes it's really obvious that they've looked at it because they just put everything back in all higgledy-piggledy. But sometimes they try to help you out by putting it back in the order that they thought you'd put it in. But what they usually do is the one that you'd put in back to front and upside down, they will put in facing the front like the main catalogue. So you can then tell that they've just been helpful, but they did look at the catalogue. And the reason you want to track that is for people who are looking at it, even if they're not ordered for 2, 3, 4 months, if they're looking regularly, you know that they're the sort of people who are interested. Whereas people who don't look at it from 1 month to the next, after you've been around 5, 6, 7 times, you probably think, okay, I'm just wasting my time coming here, so then you can cross them off your list. Now, if there's no catalogue when you go back, just knock on the door. If someone answers, just say, oh, hi there, I just wanted to check, have you finished with the Kleeneze catalogue I dropped in a couple of days ago? 9 times out of 10, it's right by the front door and they've just forgotten to put it on the doorstep. Sometimes they might say, oh, sorry, I haven't had a chance to have a look at it yet. If they do, always say, oh, that's okay, you can hang on to it for a day or two if you'd like to, because then you're showing them that you're helping them out, really giving them a bit more time if they'd like to. Sometimes people will say, excuse me, that cough has come back. Sometimes people will just say, oh no, don't worry, I'll have a look at it next time, which is fine because they're telling you they want a catalogue again. But sometimes they'll say, oh, thank you, okay, I'll put it out tomorrow instead. And you've got a really good chance, I find, probably 80% of the time, if people say that, when they put it out next time, there'll be an order for you because they really appreciate the fact that you've given them time to have a good look. If there's nobody in when you knock on the door, that's when you pop the sorry I missed you slip in, and you must go back the next day to check it. Go back the next day and the next day. I would go back 3 or 4 times, if you can, and that's why it's really important to go around your local streets in a good order. So quite often what you can do is as you're delivering one set of catalogues, maybe down one side, on your way back home, you can walk past the ones that you'd collected the previous day and pick up any stragglers. Each time you go back, the catalogue's not there and there's nobody in, put another reminder slip through. People are just forgetful, they're busy. Your catalogues are important to you, so you should make a good effort to try and get them back. And what I always recommend is you also go back a week later on the same day that you said you wanted to collect it with your day slip. Because if someone's been away on holiday and they come back and it says, please put the catalogue out on Tuesday, and let's suppose it's the Saturday, they might not know that you were expecting it last Tuesday. So if you go back the following Tuesday, hey presto, it's there because they've kind of read your note and put it out for you. Now, Facebook selling. One of the things that's really important is because you're going to be doing a lot of posting on Facebook, you need to have good, what we call a Facebook footprint. And what that means is, if you're already on Facebook and you're using it all the time and you put pictures up of the children and the pet and you and your mates out for a drink and you get loads of engagement and interaction with all your friends, then that's fine. Your Facebook knows you're a very active person, you're doing loads of stuff on there. So when you start doing lots of things as well in groups and posting things on your own timeline and so on, Facebook doesn't see that as unusual. However, if you're the sort of person that only logged onto Facebook once a month, and then all you did was click like on a couple of things and you hardly posted anything, and then you join the business and suddenly you're posting 3 times a week, 3 times a day on 50 different groups and posting in all sorts of other things, Facebook's going to say, hold on a minute, this is a drastic change in behavior, and you can start putting some restrictions on you. So you need to build it up gradually by putting things on your own timeline, kind of things that people will engage with. So pictures of you and the children and the pets and your friends and where you're visiting and the picture of the coffee and the cake that you're eating in the cafe. Oh no, that's just me. But well, whatever your hobbies are, you know what I mean. So things that your friends will like and engage with and put comments on, and then you can build that up at the same time as you're building up your business. Your Facebook profile is really, really important. If you've got a picture of, I don't know, a Ninja Turtle as your profile picture, and your cover photo is you and your best friend when you were really drunk and you slouched over a park bench or something like that, then when people are looking to order from you, quite often they will just look at your profile just to kind of see, oh, I wonder what this person is, what kind of person they are. and that can really turn people off. So your profile needs to be friendly and professional. Just a nice picture of you. Your cover photo can be you and the family, because that's great, because then people can see you're a genuine person. And just kind of make it, look at your profile yourself. Click on your profile and look at it as if you weren't yourself. Don't look at it thinking, oh, that was a great time when me and the girls were out drinking. Look at it thinking, if I didn't know this person, do they look friendly and professional, or do they look as if I'm going to get abused if I go around to order something from them? So when you first start off, what you need to be doing is joining lots of local groups, 30 to 60 local groups. You need to create your own selling group. Those videos that I mentioned earlier will show you how to do that if you're not sure. Also speak to your sponsor, because your sponsor will be able to help you with that. And you need to be posting products. So to start off with, put, I would say, at least 10 to 15 pictures in your own group from the Care Life range and the Kleeneze range before you start adding friends and family to it. It's a bit like having your own shop. You would fill the shop up first before you open the doors to the public. And then every day, in all of the groups that you're in, what you need to do is engage and interact with people. So that can just be looking at some of the other things that are going on in the group and sort of saying, oh, this looks really interesting, or sharing things, commenting, clicking like. Post one or two of your own products every day, and then bump one or two that you've done from a previous day as well. And that's a great way to get a good mix of all of your products in amongst the rest of the things in those groups. When you're selling things to people, you get sales in two different ways. So firstly, you'll sell things fast. You'll put something on there, and really, really quickly, somebody will see it and they'll get a comment saying, oh, this is really pretty. Can I order one of these, please? But the other thing is, in your own group, you're starting to build a rapport with people. People who come to your group and see all of the things that you're promoting, and not just selling in there. It's a community. You have to think of it as like a community where you're maybe doing some little puzzles and running competitions and things as well. And people will buy from you in that group because they get to know you and they start to like you, and then they trust you. So you'll get sales from outside groups, but also from your own selling group. And it's really, really important to build that rapport, build that relationship up with your customers in there. And a little example from one of my customers. She was a mum, had a couple of twins, and a few months ago we did one of the products that we did was a personalised cushion where you can have the baby's name, date of birth, their weight, so on. So like a little personalised cushion for the baby. Because she had twins, a boy and a girl, she wanted a blue one and a pink one. So I said, oh yeah, there's no problem at all, Libby. Send me their names, the dates of birth, and the weights. And she sent me the details over, but the dates of birth were different. And I said, oh, she's obviously mistyped one of them. They must have been both on the 25th or both on the 26th or something. But when I asked her, she said, no, that's right. They actually were born on different days. One was just before midnight, and one was just after midnight. So I thought, that's what a fantastic story. They're going to have kind of twins, but with different birthdays. So I said, would it be okay, once you've got the cushions, to have a picture, a photo of the twins with their cushions? And I put that up in my group, and I just got loads of people commenting and saying, oh my God, they're so cute. And fancy that, twins with different birthdays, and all stories of, my cousin used to do this. And that's just a great way to build rapport. Finding little stories that happen, that occur when you're chatting to your customers, is a great thing to put in your group, because you have to think of it as a community, not just a place where you sell stuff. Now, when you're placing your order, you need to log on to your kleeneze.co.uk account. So guys, running a little bit slow at the moment, not sure why. And obviously your login and password is, your login is your distributor number, and the password is the one that you created at the time you did your registration. You can reset that if you want to, so it's not a problem. One good thing to remember is, as you're putting the order in, obviously you've got items that you're putting in, maybe from Facebook, maybe from catalogues, and then maybe you want to wait until you've been out to pick up some stragglers. If you get halfway through putting an order in, you can just log off and all the items that you've put in so far are remembered, and then when you log back in to put the rest of the order in, you just need to add the new items there. So don't worry about waiting until you've got everything there before you put it in. One thing to be aware of is a delivery cut-off time. If you put an order in by, it's 3:15, but I always say aim for 3 o'clock to be sure. If you put an order in by 3 o'clock on a particular day, it gets delivered to you 2 working days later. So for example, if you put an order in on a Monday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it will be delivered to you on the Wednesday. If you put the order in on a Monday at 6 o'clock in the evening, it will be the Thursday before it comes to you. So you just need to kind of bear that in mind if you're thinking about, oh, I need it to be delivered on the Wednesday because I'm going to be out all day Thursday. Then make sure you get it in on Monday before 3 o'clock. Now, when the goods arrive, they will arrive in a number of boxes, the blue bags for kind of taller, larger items. They're delivered to you by parcel force. So what you need to do is obviously unpack all of the boxes, sort them out into your customers' orders. And what I normally do is just put the items for each customer into a carrier bag, and then I staple the blue receipt to the carrier. The order form is made up of 2 parts. There's the blue receipt and the pink part, and I normally separate the two. Most customers give me them both back, although actually what they're supposed to do is when they've written their order out, they keep the pink part for themselves and give you the blue part back with the catalogue. But I find 99% of my customers just give me them both back. So I then staple the blue receipt to the carrier and then keep the pink one for me. I then use the empty boxes to hold all of these carrier bags with all of the orders in, stick them all in the back of the car if you've got a car, and then I just use the pink receipts as my checklist as I'm driving around to make sure I know who I'm going to deliver to next. Now when you're delivering your orders, what you'll find is Facebook buyers will often collect, although if you can deliver it to them, I tend to find that works better because they're much more likely to kind of stay in and have the money. If you say, oh, can you come and collect it from me on such and such a time, especially if they don't drive and they've got to kind of make a special journey to come and collect it from you, then you might find that they put you off or they forget to come round or whatever. Whereas if you deliver to them, then I find them much more reliable. And what I always do is I always call them up first. You might not have their number the first time you go round, but in which case obviously you can. But after a while you collect their telephone numbers, and I just give them a quick call, just saying, oh hi Mr. Johnson, it's Chris from Kleeneze. Is it okay to pop round with your order? And they'll say, oh yeah, that's fantastic, see you in a couple of minutes. Or, oh, we're just having tea at the moment, Chris, could you pop round tomorrow morning instead? Whatever's best for them. I've had so many customers say to me they really appreciate that little bit of customer service. So they're not kind of scratching around for their purse, or if they don't have any money or anything, feeling embarrassed about the fact that they can't pay you when you're stood on the door because you just turned up unannounced. So a quick call first is, I find, it really saves you a lot of hassle and makes them feel valued. When they're paying, they can either pay cash or cheque, and they can pay with a credit or debit card as well. There's a hotline number. Speak to your sponsor to get the number. I haven't put that up here if they want to pay with a card. Most customers pay by cash. If they want to pay by cheque, then you speak to your sponsor again to work out what's best for you. They will either make the cheque out to Kleeneze or to yourself. The only difference between the two is if they make the cheque out to Kleeneze, then you have to pay that into a branch of the NatWest with a gyro slip. Whereas if they've made the cheque out to you, you can then just pay the cash and the cheques all into your own account and then pay what you owe from your own account with your card online. And when I hand the goods to the customer, I always just point to them the fact that my details are on their blue receipt, which is stapled to their carrier bag. There's a little sticky label on the blue receipt which I put on there with my name and contact details. And I always just say to them, if you've got any queries, any problems at all, please give me a call. I'm quite happy to give you a refund or replace it if you're not happy. And that just really encourages them to feel comfortable giving you orders, because then they know they can get a refund or replacement anytime. Right, guys, sorry, I've been waffling on quite a lot there. I hope that all kind of made sense. I just want to make sure that you haven't all dozed off. So can I just check? When I said at the beginning, how many weeks should you wait before you go back to the same house to deliver a catalogue? Michelle says 4 weeks. Yep. Tracy says 4. Sue says 4. James 4. Yep. Fantastic. You guys are all wide awake. Glad to hear that. Oh, you guys, brilliant. Vanessa, you do 3 weeks. Okay, that's interesting. I've got to admit, I do 4, but to be honest, 3 or 5, I think, would work. You know, it kind of works. Whatever works best for you. I would say start off with 4, and then you can decide. How many Facebook groups should you be joining? When we talked about joining local groups, anyone remember? Yep, 30 to 50, 30 to 60, 30 to 60. Yep, 60 groups. Yep, fantastic, guys. That's it. Make sure you're all in plenty of groups. Now, can you remember I talked about the 30-day challenge? How much in orders are you aiming to get in your first 30 days? Anyone remember? Emma, £600 worth, yeah, £600, everybody, yeah. Someone said 150, I think, James, yeah, £150 a week. But if you do that over the 30 days, obviously 4 weeks, that gives you £600 worth. Fantastic, you guys are all wide awake. Yeah, that's true, Vanessa. As many £150 orders as you can, actually. So you don't have to stop at 600, 750, 900. Okay, so for those of you who are doing catalogues or are planning to do catalogues, can you remember what I said, how many catalogues a week you should aim to put out? How many are you planning to do? Obviously for, I think, Rochelle, you were just doing Facebook at the moment. So, yep, Mary, 250 twice a week. That's fantastic. That's exactly what you should be doing. James, 250. Emma, 250. Yeah, I would say 250 is what you need to do at least. If you can do more than that, then you'll just obviously grow your business that much more quickly. There you go. There's a great example. Vanessa does 500, sometimes 700 near the month end to boost her income. So, excellent. Okay, guys, just wrapping up now. What we covered today was, excuse me, firstly, get started straight away. Don't kind of wait until you think you've learned everything that you need to learn. Just get started on day one. Talked a bit about your 30-day bonus, getting your free catalogues and your free leads. Talked about how to prepare your catalogues, the importance of planning. Don't just think, oh, I'll do it when I feel like it. Sit down with your sponsor, work out how many hours a day, how many hours a week am I going to do it, and then stick to that plan. Told you all about hints and tips for delivering and collecting the catalogues. Told you briefly about Facebook selling. Hope that kind of made sense, but there's lots of really good videos out there, so speak to your sponsor to make sure you watch those. Told you a bit about placing your order, receiving the goods, and then delivering your orders to your customers. Okay guys, so that was number 1. Next week we're going to be doing number 2. So that's all about your first 4 weeks. What else should you be doing apart from getting your catalogues out or posting on Facebook or doing both? So that's what we're going to be covering next time. And I said these videos, these webinars are all recorded, so